Welcome to video number 4 of the Chronicles of Liberty. In this video, we're going to discuss around the same time as video 3. And in the Book of Mormon, not many years after Mosiah died, we read of a man whose name was Amaleki. Amaleki was described as a very cunning man, a wise man, as to the wisdom of the world. He was a man that wanted power, prestige, wealth, and worse, to destroy and deprive those that opposed him of their rights and privileges of the church. He wanted to destroy the church of God. This man was so charismatic that he drew away many and wanted to be their king. After what was most likely an election in the way we understand it, he was not made the king over all the people known as Nephites. However, those that had wanted him separated themselves and made him their king. We read in Alma chapter 2, starting in verse 10. Now when Amaleki was made king over them, he commanded them that they should take up arms against their brethren. And this he did, that they might subject them unto him. Again, here we find another example of a power-hungry individual who was happy to take away the rights of the people, simply for power and personal gain. However, we continue reading in verse 11. Now the people of Amaleki were distinguished by the name of Amaleki, being called Amalekites. And the remainder were called Nephites, or the people of God. Therefore, the people of the Nephites were aware of the intent of the Amalekites, and therefore they did prepare to meet them. They did arm themselves with swords and scimitars and bows and arrows and stones and slings, with all manners of weapons of war of every kind. And thus they were prepared to meet the Amalekites at the time of their coming. And there were appointed captains and higher captains and chief captains according to their numbers. And it came to pass that Amaleki did arm his men with all manners of weapons of war. And he also appointed rulers and leaders over his people to lead them to war against their brethren. And it came to pass that the Amalekites came upon the hill Amnahu, which is east of the river Sidon, which ran by the land of Zarahemla. And there they began to make war with the Nephites. In verse 18 we read, Nevertheless, the Lord did strengthen the hand of the Nephites, that they slew the Amalekites with great slaughter, that they began to flee before them. And it came to pass that the Nephites did pursue the Amalekites all that day, and did slay them with much slaughter, insomuch that there were slain of the Amalekites 12,532 souls. And there were slain of the Nephites 6,562 souls. So why do I reference a scripture most of you have never heard of? Because I believe it's a great source of history. And if we don't understand the history of this land and the promises bestowed upon it, we're likely to repeat it. Now, we have a president who would be king if he could get away with it, that wants to take away your rights, both as patriots and Christians. Wake up, America. It's clear that what's at stake if we don't unite to defend our Constitution, our conservative way of life, and the right to believe in Jesus Christ. Remember, the Constitution preserves the advantage of being armed, which Americans possess over the people of almost every other nation where the governments are afraid to trust the people with arms. That was James Madison. Jus meum tabor.